Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to today's video. One thing that all gamers have in common is when you fall in love with a gaming franchise, you look forward to the sequel. The sequel means a lot. If you're enjoying the current game, then even when you're close to beating that game, you're already looking forward to the next one. And eventually, that gets to the point where the next game is going to be on the next console. There are transition games though. What's a transition game, I hear you ask? Well, think Assassin's Creed Black Flag. That came out on the PS3 and it came out on the PS4. But why did it come out on both? It's very simple. It was the end of the PS3's lifespan and the PS4 was new. Not everyone could afford a PS4. Some people had to put up with PS3 for quite a while. Like me. Yeah. Raking in the monies! But there are many more benefits to transition games other than just the fact of whether people can afford it or not. It was a great way to show off what the new console can do. Here's this game. Yes, it is already on the console you own. But if you owned it on this console, look at what you could have. These days it doesn't make a hell of a lot of difference. Let's face it, PS3 to PS4, bit of a jump in graphics and all that. PS4 to PS5, nope, I don't see it most of the time. Sorry, really don't see it. When it comes to Nintendo, they don't specialize in graphics anyway. So when you're thinking Wii to Wii U to Switch, you're not looking at the graphics, you're just looking at the new game. Hence why Nintendo doesn't really do a lot of transition games. In fact, the only one I can think of, Breath of the Wild, Wii U, Switch. Mario Kart, all them other ones, they were re-releases, not really transition games. But when it came to the olden days of 8-bit turned into 16-bit, then there was a big jump in graphics. Ah yes, and today we are going to look at 5 Master System gaming franchises that had a sequel released on Mega Drive and therefore were actually kind of disappointing. I might have to work on that title a little bit. So the first game we are going to look at is Phantasy Star II. Now the first one on Master System is legendary. There are a lot of people out there that say it is better than the first Final Fantasy, better than the first Dragon Quest / Dragon Warrior. And I agree. There's like, yeah, alright, I'm a huge Sega fan, but let's just put it this way. Phantasy Star 1 is better than Final Fantasy 1 and Dragon Quest 1. The Phantasy Star franchise is a bit dead. There's no denying that Dragon Quest and Final Fantasy are better franchises, but for the original games, I would argue that Phantasy Star 1 is the better game. And I'll always argue that, even though I love Final Fantasy 1. Dragon Quest 1, eternal grinding. It's not really for me. There's not a lot of variety in that game. But of course, Phantasy Star was a Master System game and hugely successful for Master System owners. But then years later, we got the sequel at long last, and we were all so excited because Phantasy Star 1, awesome dungeons, awesome battle scenes. I'm going to be referencing this particular battle scene a lot in a minute, so get ready. But then we got Phantasy Star II for the Mega Drive. The opening cutscene is pretty damn good. I have to be honest, I love the way that it straight away goes on about the last game. What happened in the story. Look at the cool characters. Look at the fight scene from the end of that game. Then we get this guy, who's kind of dull. But don't worry, everything in this game is dull. The music is meh. It's very meh. It is not the Mega Drive showing off what it can do with its sound chip. It's just meh. But so are the graphics. The world in which you play, dull. Very green for the longest time. Huge lack of variety. The characters, well, they're alright. But that's all they are, is alright. But all of that is instantly dumped on when you get to a fight. Now look at this first. This is from Phantasy Star Master System, right? Look at the color. Look at the design of the enemy. Look at everything going on here. The ocean moving, the background with all of the color. It's 8-bit, all right? This is 8-bit. Now look at a typical fight scene on its sequel. What is this? It's got a poxy, boring grid background. Now, I know that, let's face it, Sega had a thing for grids, didn't they? They had it on all their boxes and everything. So maybe that was the mentality behind this decision. But it's a terrible decision because every single fight in this game looks like this. On the Master System one, we had forests, beaches, caves, you name it, it was there. Phantasy Star II. Nope. Got a grid with meh enemies and really crappy ear-scratching sound effects. This game is not exactly horrible. It is not a pure gold turd. It is not incredibly bad, but it is incredibly disappointing. The first game was so awesome. This is now 16 bits. It should be better, but it's not. And what's worse than the actual fight scenes is now we have gotten rid of the iconic dungeons that you saw in the first game, and they've been replaced with just wandering around like an idiot. I'm serious, that's it. You wander around the whole time. There's no maze. Don't get me wrong, the labyrinths were really cool, but I got lost a lot. I had to make maps. I wish I could remember what I had done with my book. I've got a grid paper book somewhere where there's loads of maps of Phantasy Star drawn out. If I find it, maybe I'll add it in the video, but we'll see on that one anyway. There's nothing like that in Phantasy Star 2. You just wander around. And because it's so meh, it's so disappointing. Now for the next game. The Wonder Boy games. The Wonder Boy games are fantastic. One of the first games I ever had was Wonder Boy 1 on the Master System. This game is great, but it's basic as hell. It's just a platformer. There's nothing particularly special to it. It's good, solid fun, but it's very repetitive. There's not a lot to it. But its sequel, also on the Master System, started employing RPG elements. That game is great. It is also the only Wonder Boy game I've never beaten. It's a weird one. I love the game, but it's kind of tough. It gets to a certain point where I don't know why, but I always screw it up. Always. The sequel to that, Wonder Boy Free, is considered by many to be the best game on the system. Yes, even better than Phantasy Star, because not everyone likes RPGs, you know. You think best game on the NES? Many people would just say Super Mario Bros. Free. Best game on the Master System? Many people would say Wonder Boy Free. Maybe it's the magic of the number 3. But everyone loved this game. Then we got a fourth one, Monster World. This isn't a bad game. It isn't a bad game. As a Master System game, it's actually quite fun. It's not as good as 3. We've taken a bit of a step down in gaming quality, but it's a minimal step. You know, it's not a bad game at all. I really want to get that across. There is a transition game for it on the Megadrive. So we've gone from graphics like this to graphics like this. It's kind of funny though, the Master System one is pushing the hardware, really, really good game. Megadrive one, everything looks better, I can't deny that. The gameplay though, actually runs slower. And I'm not just saying, oh, you've got a 50Hz Megadrive, Tom, so that's why it's like that. No, this is done 60Hz. I made sure of it for the footage. It is slower. That does upgrade as you get like the boots and stuff upgraded, but it feels very sluggish. As the Mega Drive game doesn't feel as fun to play as the Master System one, but it is obviously better looking. This is not the disappointing sequel though. There was a Monster World 4. Yes, I know this is very confusing now with the naming. I don't know what the hell they were thinking. This game is awesome. This one, like Wonder Boy 3, in case I forgot to mention, got a re-release on the Switch. Great game. But the original one, Mega Drive, don't think it came out of Japan. We certainly didn't get it here. We got screwed. So this would have been a great sequel. But the one we did get, very disappointing. Wonder Boy 3, Monster Lair. So yes, it's a Wonder Boy 3, just making the names even more confusing. And rather than what all the Wonder Boy games have been doing up to this point, in bringing in RPG elements, helping it evolve from just that basic platform where we started off with to something grand and wonderful. Now it's gone nuts to that shmup. I'm serious, look at this, it's a shmup. What were they thinking? Why the hell did they do this? This was a terrible decision. No true Wonder Boy fan wanted this. If it was a spin-off like game, sure, why not? Like spin-off game on the Game Gear or something fun like that. But no, this was a genuine sequel. No one wanted this. We wanted more RPG stuff. We wanted it to evolve more. It was evolving great. 2, 3, 4 kind of. And then, yeah, the Japanese got a better 4, which was way better. And then this thing. That's disappointing. Now for Fatal Labyrinth. Many people who have watched this channel know that I am a big fan of Dragon Crystal. That game is fantastic. A lot of people grew up with the Game Gear version as opposed to the Master System version. They are near enough identical. There's just subtle differences in like the icons, the sprites used for items and stuff. The music is different. The funny thing is, remember this, right? When we talk about Fatal Labyrinth, the music in Dragon Crystal, whether it's Game Gear or Master System, while they're very different tracks, they are both great. They both sound great. Fatal Labyrinth is technically a spiritual successor, but it is a sequel. Anyone will tell you that. Let's be fair here. They've upped the graphics. They've gone right in deep with a story. Dragon Crystal never really had much of a story. I mean, it did if you read the booklet, but if you just played the game, you got nothing to go on. Megadrive, you don't need a booklet. It's all there. The story is all right in front of you. And I know it's meant to be some sort of scary, castle-y game, you know, but why is everything so meh? Why does everything look dingy and meh? There's no real colour here. And the biggest disappointment of them all, while Dragon Crystal had really upbeat, nice music, like, listen for a minute. Dragon Crystal had that. Fatal Labyrinth has this. What the bloody hell is this? Absolute horror. The game itself, boring. Doesn't have anything new to it, really. Even some of the enemies are reused from Dragon Crystal. It hasn't stepped up nearly enough. It's stepped down. The graphics are way uglier. The story, it's kind of cool, but at the same time, kind of don't care. It's just meh. So many things are meh. The music, though, is beyond meh because it's just pure crap. Let's not deny it. This game sucks. It's not just disappointing, it's rubbish. I would not buy this. I would highly recommend anyone to try Dragon Crystal. I mean, it's a good, cheapish game. You can get it in many places. And again, Game Gear, Master System. You could get it on the 3DS for a while, but that's out the window now. So there are ways to play it, though. Fatal Labyrinth, don't bother. Don't waste your time. There's nothing fun here. Next game, Ys 3. Now, I'll be honest, this is probably the least disappointing of all the games we're mentioning today, but it suffers from something that I think should be mentioned. It's like Zelda 2 syndrome. So Ys on the Master System, it's a top-down, adventure-y RPG game. Bit weird in the fact that to fight enemies, you nudge into them. That's kind of weird. You don't press a button to attack, you nudge things. It was weird, but we adapted to it pretty quickly. The artwork, the music, everything about the Master System game was brilliant. Truly a fantastic game. If you have Master System or you want to start collecting for Master System, this is one to save up for. Yeah, it's not cheap. It isn't. Is it one of the most expensive ones? No, but it's not cheap. It is a worthwhile game, though. Definitely. But you can play this on many things. There's like a PC Engine one, there's a Famicom one, so if you can read Japanese, your quid's in. If you're like me and you can't, that's useless. But we had a funny thing happen with the sequel to this one. We didn't get Ys 2. I don't know why. I don't know why we didn't get a release for it, Mega Drive or anything like that. I just don't know why. But we went straight to Ys 3, which is confusing as hell. The music in this game is fantastic. It is absolutely stellar. The best way to describe the music in Ys 3 is just gloriously epic. Fantastic music. Can't fault it at all. Graphics, pretty damn good. They feel a bit weird in the way they're squashed in, though. They've gone for the same thing of Ys 1, where all of what you see for the game is in a border, and you got all your stats down below. It feels like that part of it is too small, and all of the other stuff is taking up too much room. I mean, it's important info, having your life bar and all that, but it shouldn't take up that much of the screen. Feels like they overdid it there. But that's a nitpicky thing. The truly disappointing thing is that they did away with the top-down style of gameplay. So, like Zelda 1 to Zelda 2, they've gone from top-down to side-scrolling. but I will admit, Zelda did a worse job of that than Ys. Ys Free, as a side-scrolling hack and slash, I guess, it is a good game. It is. It's not bad at all. This is a good game. Zelda 2 is a mixed bag. Some people like the game, some people hate it. Ys Free, I don't get people hating it, I get people that are disappointed with it because they wanted more of what we had before. I don't think anyone's disappointed with the music though. Music's bloody awesome. Now for the final one, I was a bit stumped. I wanted to round it down to 5, but I could only think of 4. So I contacted Retro Gamer Boy and said, can you think of a sequel on Mega Drive, sequel from a Master System thing that was really disappointing to you? He jumped up and straight away said Double Dragon, because so many people love Double Dragon on Master System. I am not one of those people. I've said many times, I can't get on with this game. It's not for me. It's not bad though, but it's just not for me. It obviously had the transition of Double Dragon 1 to the Mega Drive, but that wasn't disappointing. Double Dragon 2, again, I don't think we even got 2. Did we get 2? I don't think we got Double Dragon 2 on Mega Drive. I don't think it was released here. Don't know why. But 3, we got 3. I really wish we didn't. I really wish we didn't get 3. Graphically, it's very meh and sort of watered down in appearance. Music, rubbish. It's bad all over. The sound effects are really annoying. They're just kind of bad. But it doesn't bother me too much because I can't really hear them. Listen. You can't tell me that you can hear that. But what really sucks is the controls. This is flat out a bad game. Might even be the worst sequel we've spoken about today. I mean, you think of it, Phantasy Star II was hugely disappointing. Wonder Boy, that shmup one, that was just a really what the hell are you thinking sort of thing. Ys Free, there's an oddball, let's face it. But then you get to this and this is just bad. I mean, Fatal Labyrinth is bad, but it's playable. This really isn't. You jump around like an idiot and you feel like, why can I never hit anything? I try to punch, I try to kick, I just jump around like an idiot and they hit me all the time. It doesn't feel like fun. Nothing about this game is fun. This was a good recommendation by Mike because it's crap. Trust him to know about that instantly, eh? Anyway, thank you very much for watching today's video. If you liked it, please click like, leave a comment, subscribe, and all that jazz. I think that's all I had to talk about today. Yeah, hopefully this video wasn't disappointing. Bye.